Long time ago in a faraway land, the king just died. Now it was the time for elders to pick a new king, and they knew that the kingship was passed from one family to the other. They knew that it was the time for the family of Lucian to become king. Lucian from a very humble and poor background. But it was a rule, and they decided that they would call Lucian to the palace to tell him the good news. Lucian was summoned to the palace and was told the news that he is now king. Lucian, excited for his new position, was about to give his answer when all of a sudden, Daryl, the wealthy man, burst into the palace hall. He immediately made his intentions to be king known to all that was there. Now this came as a shock to the elders, but he told them that under his reign as king, the town will prosper. Now Lucian knew that he was no match for Gerald's wealth and power, so he decided to leave the palace hall, his head hanging in shame as he left, and Gerald was crowned king shortly after. While Gerald is crowned as king, Lucian sits by the river bank, dejected. All of a sudden, a black cloud forms behind him, and emerges a beautiful mystical woman. Lucian, afraid, but she tells him not to be afraid. She understands his pain, and she is here to help him. She shows him a beautiful world and him as king. But Lucian tells her that someone else is be crowned king. She laughs. She tells him that she will make him king on one condition. She will come back in 10 years to collect her prize, and Lucian would ask her no questions. Lucian, still determined to be king, agreed. Satisfied with his deal, she disappears, and 10 days later, Gerald falls ill and dies mysteriously. And Lucian is now crowned king, but this throne comes at a costly price. 10 years go by so fast. Lucian is a marvelous king. The kingdom flourishes under his reign, and the people are pleased with the king, but tragedy struck. The people began to lose their loved ones. Crops began to dry up. Animals began to die. The people were in pain, and they cried out. The elders had to call a meeting with the king to ask for solution to the problem. The king knew that something was wrong, and there was only one person who could do this. So he went to the riverbank and called out to the mystical, beautiful woman. She appeared before him with a smile, happy to see him after 10 long years. He asked her, "Are you the one doing this to my people?" She told him with a smile, "We made a deal. I am here to collect what's mine." Lucian confronted her in anger. "You cannot do this to my people. My people must be spared." She spoke in anger, thundering her cloud. "How dare you talk to me in this manner? We made a deal. I am here to collect, and that is final." She disappears into the cloud, leaving Lucian. Lucian stays up all night, thinking of what to do. But one thing was for sure, he will fight Spark. The tragedy continued, and the cries of the people grew louder and louder as the day went by. Lucian couldn't take it anymore. He summoned the elders to the palace. He needed a solution, and he needed it fast. One of the elders spoke up. He knew of a mage from the neighboring kingdom, who had great powers and has always protected his kingdom till the very day. Lucian couldn't wait. He agreed with the council that the mage be brought to the palace immediately. Days later, the mage arrives at the palace. Lucian told him about the tragedy and the suffering of his people. But the mage told the king, "I know of the suffering of your people, and I know the deal you made with the devil. This is what I taught, and you have brought this upon your people. You have made them suffer." Lucian was filled with guilt. He knows he's the cause of the suffering of his people. He pleads with the mage to please help the kingdom, help his people from this tragedy. The mage, filled with sympathy for the king, decides that he will help the king and his kingdom. He will come back in 3 days, and he will undo the deal that has been done. As promised, 3 days later, he stands in the courtyard of the palace, ready to summon the mystical woman. The mage stood in the courtyard, raised his staff to the heavens, and summoned the mystical woman by her name, Kalisa. Kalisa appeared before him, mad with fury. "You, how dare you? How did you know my name? And why did you summon me, you filthy rat?" The mage stood firm as he said to her, "I have known you for a long time, Kalisa. You have destroyed kingdoms. You have fed off the tears and the deaths of people on the land. This will be your last." Kalisa, burning with anger, said to him in a thunderous voice, "You rat, you will die today." With all her might, Kalisa formed a ball of fire and struck the mage. But he was quick. He formed a sphere of protection around himself. This made Kalisa really angry. But before she could react, he called on the heavens and struck her with lightning from his staff. Kalisa, born from within, she screamed out. And the more she screamed, the more she burned. And finally, she disappeared. She was gone with her evil. The skies became clear, and there was peace at last. With Kalisa defeated, the king summons the mage to the palace to thank him for his work. He offers the mage gold and glories, a small price for the peace he has brought to his land. But the mage refuses. He has finished his work, he must return to his kingdom. With that, the elders and the king bid him farewell. The king grew for many years after. His people flourished, and his land at peace.